Hey everyone, I'm Ellen here at etrailer.com. Today we're taking a look at the Pacer Performance High 5 LED Truck Cab Light Kit. Now this is going to be styled after the 2007 to 2014 Chevy and GM factory roof lights on those trucks. So this is either going to replace that for you or just give you some lights on the top of your vehicle to match with those. You'll get one longer light bar and then the two smaller ones to go on either side. So this is going to give you a total of 5 points of light. We'll have 2 LEDs per our smaller ones, but they're kind of bunched together so it really just looks like one light, and then 3 clusters in our longer one. It also comes with the quick splices, a switch, a length of red wire with a fuse in place, some other hardware, long bolts, and the screws for the switch, as well as some little rubber washers to put over those screws to help maintain a more watertight fit for this. So most of the things that you'll probably need for your install. One thing that's important to keep in mind with this is that you do have to make some modifications to the vehicle that you're mounting this to. You're going to have to drill in through your roof to get this mounted up, so just keep that in mind. So if you don't feel terribly comfortable with drilling a little hole through your roof line, you might want to find another solution. Really not that hard to do, just something to keep in mind there. Now, one thing I want to show you guys before we move too much further forward is what those lights look like when they are illuminated. So I'm going to connect my power and ground. You can see that light comes on there. So not super bright, but enough to give you that big rig look for your truck. And then I'll hook up the big one as well so you can see what that's going to look like. Unfortunately, I can't hook them up all at once, just with what I've got set up here today. We'll connect our power and our ground again for that big guy. And I'm going to turn the lights out in the studio so you can get a better idea of what that looks like. So we'll have our 3 little clusters of 3 for that light. This isn't going to cause any issues with other drivers being blinded by your lights. It just gives you that kind of big rig style, as I mentioned. Turn our lights back on, and we'll go over the rest of the specs. Now these are LEDs, so that means you don't really have to worry about ever having to change out the bulbs. Once they're installed, they should be good for a very long time, pretty much the lifetime of the light itself. And that also means that we won't have to worry about too much power being drawn from our factory system or from our factory lighting. It's not going to require a lot to run those, and they're not going to get too hot. A lot of times with incandescent bulbs, those can be the big issues, is the heat and the power that they require, as well as having those bulbs to replace because of the brittle filaments breaking down over time. But no worries with that with this, since we've got our LEDs. Again, we do get that little toggle switch, so you can kind of run this a couple different ways. You can wire it into your factory running light circuit if you want, or you can run this directly to a switch powered off your battery and be able to turn those on and off manually from there. So you can mount this up somewhere on your dash. It's not terribly huge, so it should be able to fit just about anywhere you'd want it, kind of maybe down lower on your dash or up close to maybe your air vent or something. You just want to make sure that wherever you mount this, it isn't going to interfere with any of your other wiring. Of course, you don't want to mess with your airbag or anything like that, and just find a good spot for it that you can reach it without having to really stretch and impair your driving or anything like that. The quick splices that come with the kit, these do an okay job of making your wiring connections. I would honestly suggest switching these out for something a little bit more durable. In our experience here, anytime I've seen these, they typically will come apart. They just press close with this little latch, and if they get bumped or jostled, and whenever you're going down the road, you can hit a pothole or something, these can get jostled loose. So I just don't have a lot of faith in these little quick splices. I would suggest getting just a regular butt connector, insulated butt connector, or even a heat shrink. This is going to be wired pretty much mostly inside your truck, so you shouldn't have to worry about too much water protection, which is the advantage with the heat shrink butt connectors. But I would definitely suggest something that's a little bit more sturdy with that. Or if you do want to use these, just make sure you crimp them down real well, and then maybe give them some tape and wire loom to go around them, just to make sure that you get a little extra protection there. These are designed to conform to the shape of your roof, so you might notice that they have a little bit of a taper to them, or a little bit of a curve, and then they're going to sit on this large foam pad, so that's also going to help to conform to our roof line. So you'll have the foam pad that's going to provide water protection around the light, so you shouldn't have any ingress of water there. Again, those screws also come with the little rubber grommets, so as you put that long screw in, it'll have something to seal it up at the top, so you don't have to worry about water getting down there. So pretty straightforward install. Might just take a little bit of patience, a little bit of time. You know, measure twice, cut once whenever it comes to drilling those holes into your cab. It does meet SAE specifications. As far as the sizing, our long light is going to be 15.5 inches long by 2 3/8 inches wide and 1 1/16 inch tall. The side lights are going to be 3 3/4 inches long by 2 3/8 inches wide and 1 1/16 inch tall. It is backed by a 60-day limited warranty from Pacer, and that's going to do it for our look at the Pacer Performance High 5 LED Truck Cab Light Kit.